Hi football fans, my name is Cillian O'Grady, the Irish Flying Canary and a long-time Norwich City fan. Welcome to the 6th edition of the Beyond the Barclay podcast focused on travelling supporters O'Grady away days. In this episode we'll focus on Watford and specifically Vicarage Road Stadium. This is our first away game of the season and also the first home game for the Hornets, so it should be a great experience for both sets of fans. A first chance to see the Canaries and how they stack up away from home. The podcast will hopefully give you an insight into getting to Vicarage Road and back safely and experiencing what the area has to offer. There is always a good atmosphere in Watford on match day, so it's a venue I always like to visit. There are probably not many of us who are going to fly to the match, unless some of the other international Canaries or indeed international Watford fans are planning the trip. I'll be flying into Luton and then catching a train down and spending the night in Watford before returning to Ireland on Wednesday. Of course, I'm no expert in Watford, so I'm delighted to be joined by a very special guest on the show who can no doubt give us a much better insight. Who could possibly know more than a passionate Watford content creator? I'm delighted to be joined by Holly Louise. Tell us all about Watford. You're very welcome to the show, Holly.
Nice to meet you, everyone.
So maybe you could start by telling us a little bit about your journey supporting Watford.
Well, I've supported Watford for 20 years now. I've been a season ticket holder since I was 2 years old. Wow. So I've been I went with my dad when I was little, and my first proper game was, I think it was like Exeter, when Watford were like in like divisions with like Graham Taylor and things like that.
Wow.
Watching Watford is like amazing. The atmosphere at the club is great. Obviously, we don't offer alcohol in the away end, but you know, that's the only perk to Watford Football Club. But no, I've sat in every end. I've sat in the Rookery, I've sat in the family stand, I've sat in the Graham Taylor stand, I've sat in the Elton John stand, but I'm back in the Rookery end, which is where the atmosphere is rocking all the time.
Is that your favourite place to sit in the ground?
Yeah, it's just a really good atmosphere. Everyone, like, obviously where everyone that goes to football is a true Watford fan, but that's where all the true Watford fans sit. Like, you've got so many Watford fans. I mean, all my mates that I go to football with are all massive Watford fans like me. But no, honestly, like, sitting in the Rookery end is great. I absolutely love it. It's always rocking. Always got Harry the Hornet taking the mick out of the away fans.
Certainly does that.
He does do that a lot. But
He's one of the better mascots in the league, I think.
Yeah, he is funny. He's a funny guy. But no, fingers crossed Watford can, do something this season, which I think every Watford fan wants, to be honest.
So are you living in Watford yourself?
I live in Hemel Hempstead. So I usually get the bus or I get dropped off by my parents to because I'm still learning to drive, which is not fun because trying to get a test in 2025 is not easy.
Certainly not. And so for people who are driving then, I mean, what's it like? How do you get to this?
So to get to Watford, there's so many different ways you can get to Watford. You can get through the A41. It really depends. I mean, I usually use the bus route, which is 352 from Hemel to Watford. It's only £3, which is cheaper. Than going up to Norwich. I mean, I've been to Norwich when we lost 4-1 at 12:30. Awful, absolutely awful. It was just really sad.
There's nothing worse than going to an away match and losing heavily.
No, it was just embarrassing, really, to be honest.
So in terms of then, say people are travelling by train, like there's a couple of train stations in Watford. Can you tell me about those?
So there is a couple, to be honest. You can either go to Croxley Met and then get from Croxley to Watford High Street. So it takes about 5 minutes, depending on the journey. I mean, obviously you've got the Western Midland trains as well. So you can get, I mean, I've been on that before to go to Norwich. So I went from Norwich, from London Euston, and then on a different train. It was like 4 changes, but it was worth it. And then you can get to Watford, but Watford's quite easy to get to. Obviously, we've got the surrounding town if you need a bus or something to the train station. But there's always a bus to the train station. So like if you don't want to walk, there's always like a Watford Junction bus that's running every like 5 to 10 minutes.
And does that go from close to the ground?
Yeah, that goes close to the ground, which is nice. But it's also nice to walk through the town and things like that.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed walking through the town there. And in terms of, there's obviously no parking around the stadium. So where would you recommend for people to park?
I would park in the town.
Okay.
It's only like £4 for the whole day,
Okay.
so
Wow.
it's quite cheap, to be honest. But if you need somewhere closer to the ground, there's a school. It's called Chater Infant School.
Okay.
And they offer parking for the day, and I think it's like £6. So it's still cheap, but I find it easier if I was to go. I'd usually park in the town, or I'd get a bus in because it's just a lot easier.
And there's plenty of car parks around the town.
There's plenty of car parks around the town.
Very good. Now, you've already mentioned the one thing I think away fans take them a little bit by surprise, and that is that there is no alcohol in the away end. So if somebody was a bit thirsty after their long journey from Norwich, where would you recommend they go?
Weatherspoons. You can't beat a Weatherspoons. Obviously, there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of pubs in Watford,
Yeah.
which is pretty good, to be honest. You've obviously got the away pub, which is the Weatherspoons, the Moon Under the Water, which is located. So you've got like a Burger King, and then you've got the Moon Under the Water, which is like opposite. So if you want a drink or something, it's the best place to go there.
Cheapest as well, is it?
Cheapest as well, or you can go to I think it's like something, the Georgian or something.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they do offer some good beer as well, to be honest.
And let's say for Watford fans and who might be travelling from abroad or long distance, who are not there a lot, what would be the big pub for local home fans to go to?
The Red Lion pub that's opposite the ground, and it has the best shirt in the world, the We Hate Luton shirt. It's probably the best shirt ever. I might have to try and get my hands on that one.
I'm going to ask you about that rivalry towards the end, but we'll leave that for our audience to hear towards the end. And in terms of eating then in Watford, I mean, it seems to be stacked with places to eat, depending on what.
There is so many places to eat, which I think as a football club, it's good because obviously everyone wants a bite to eat before they go to the football. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think the last time I was in Watford, I think I might be mistaken. I think it was an early kickoff, so I arrived early for breakfast, and I had a lovely Irish breakfast. It was labelled as in O'Neill's beside Watford Junction Station. It was pretty good.
I love a bit of O'Neill's. It's absolutely banging.
Excellent. So, I mean, there's obviously different types of places to eat, but is there anywhere that you'd recommend somebody to go for a bit of footy?
There is quite a lot of places. I mean, I go to Wingstop in Watford, which is pretty. It's like chicken and like chips and things like that. It's pretty good. Or like if I'm not fancy anything like that, I'll go to like TGI Fridays because they've got such a variety of like different like foods that you can get as well, and it's like a 5-minute walk from the ground. So then again, it's an absolute perk with only being like 5 to 7 minutes away from the ground, which is good in a way.
Yeah. So talking a little bit about the pre-match, that atmosphere. I mean, I've always found Watford fans to be very friendly, and there doesn't seem to be any trouble, certainly between Norwich and Watford fans around the stadium. But what's the atmosphere like pre-match, would you say, for home and away fans?
I think the atmosphere is rocking. When you've got home and away fans that are passionate about their clubs and wanting to come and see a good performance, there's going to be a good pre-match atmosphere. And obviously, it's great to be back at the football. Obviously, you'll probably agree with me. It's been a long slog waiting.
It feels like, especially when we haven't been in the playoffs or anything like it's.
Exactly, and fingers crossed we can both potentially get there this season because we both had good. Let's be honest, we've had a good transfer window at the moment, so fingers crossed something can happen this season. But you never know. It's football. Football's football. Who knows? The game's over in 90+ minutes. Who knows what's going to happen?
No, exactly. And what about football chants? Is there anything we should listen out for?
We hate Luton. There's always a one about how much we hate Luton.
We the same with it.
I know how much you guys hate it, but I know. Do you know what? I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious when you guys play each other this season.
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to miss Luton this year.
Then again, I'm not because I don't like it.
You beat us in the cup and end up playing them.
I do know what, if we do play them, I'm actually going to work myself. I absolutely hate them, so it's quite funny actually, to be honest.
So for fans then who want the opportunity to meet the players, is that easy to do with Watford?
It is. Do you know what? It actually is. If you sit in the Elton John stand, you've got the best opportunity. But if you want to meet the players after the game, you might as well just wait outside. There's a player entrance by SEJ5, SEJ by the Elton John stand, and that's the best place you're going to go and meet the players. And you will see them. I've met quite a lot of the Watford players. I've met Luther Blissett myself. He's a lovely bloke.
Yeah.
I've met Troy Deeney, I've met Igalo, I've met Imran Louza, who plays for Watford and obviously was the all-time best player this last season, which was absolutely quality.
Brilliant.
I absolutely love him. But yeah, no, they are very approachable, the Watford players, which is nice to see.
What about, do you know where the away bus goes to or from the away team bus?
I don't know. I mean, they keep it quite quiet. They don't really tell you. But I think it goes around the back of the stadium.
Okay. So in terms of, obviously we're going there for the football, but if there was one other thing you would recommend for somebody to do in Watford, visiting Watford for the first time, what would it be?
So many.
It doesn't have to be one, if there's two or three you think of.
I mean, I'd go to Hollywood Bowl. It's always a good shout if you've got something to do before the football, like a 3:00 kickoff. If you're from Norwich and you've just travelled down, it's quite a long time to wait, to be honest. But or Putt Shack, or even just going into town, having a look, even going into the Watford Club shop, having a look at our kits, and seeing what you think of other teams' kits. Because it's always nice to look at other teams' kits and compare them to your kits. But honestly, I'm going to say your home kit this year is absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it.
I agree with you. I think it's the one, but Watford is the one team we probably can't wear the home kit for. Not wearing yellow, so we haven't released our away kit yet. We have the third kit. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, that one's beautiful.
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, I've seen a lot of fans. It's a bit like Marmite. People love it, and then other people. I heard one person describe it as it should come with free divorce papers.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that with our controversy of our kit. Obviously, our kit's a bit funky this year. We've got red lines going down it. Everyone's compared us to the Heinz ketchup, so it's fine. And again, it could be, it's either you love it or you hate it. Who knows?
Yeah. You've probably, obviously probably don't stay in Watford, but would you have any idea where if somebody wanted to stay a weekend, if they would say a weekend match, or like I'm doing a match, any recommendations?
By the train station, there's a Holiday Inn. You've got a Travelodge. So there are pretty good hotel places in Watford. There's quite a few actually, which is pretty good, to be honest. Yeah. And there's bistros and places that you can stay in, and they don't charge much. I mean, obviously Watford is outside of London. Well, it's not far away from London when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are places to stay, which is pretty good.
So it's far enough away to make it reasonable.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah.
Very good. And obviously, I've already referred to the fact that, Watford fans generally seem quite friendly, certainly to Norwich fans anyway. But any tips for travelling fans to stay safe and areas not to go to?
Don't avoid Luton at all costs if you're a Watford fan. No, to be honest, we're really friendly. I mean, obviously when there's a derby, we're not going to be friendly because we absolutely hate each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are friendly. We are friendly fans. When I go to football, I don't go there to bother people. I just go there to have a good time,
sure, yeah.
get 3 points, and then obviously move up the table. So, I mean, I've never encountered any obviously awfulness in Watford. Obviously, when we had the M1 derby last season, there was a bit of controversy with the fact that they were allowed to travel by train and we weren't, which, to be honest, no one actually understands why we weren't. But, each their own. Yeah. But who knows?
Derby days are definitely something different.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, Watford's a safe, you'd say it's a...
Yeah, I'd say it's a safe town. I mean, you are going to encounter bad people when you go to the football, but you just need to avoid them. Just keep walking. Yeah. That's what I do. I go to football with my brother, bless him, and he's only 17, and if there's something going on, we'll just walk straight to the football. We'll just be like, no, let's go to football, get something to eat quickly, get out of the way, keep out of trouble.
Brilliant. You mentioned there we both had pretty good, or seems to have pretty good signings during the off season. But there was obviously one particular player there's a fair bit of speculation about Papa Diallo. We're happy that we have him. Well, we think we are. How do Watford fans feel about him? And if he does play in the cup game, so you think he'll get an okay reception?
I think so. We've just signed Iran Kunda from Bayern Munich. And I mean, obviously they kind of play the same position when you look at them in a stat review, because obviously I have stats all around my bedroom about the Watford players. Like I love a good old stat. But I mean, obviously it is a shame, obviously, that we couldn't get the deal with Pep Diallo, but it's nice to see him obviously at a championship club, which is it'd be good if he does get the minutes. And I hope, fingers crossed, he does get the minutes. Obviously you've got Millwall and we've got Charlton. Hopefully he does get the minutes against Millwall. Who knows? And fingers crossed he can get you a few goals, which would be nice.
That would be lovely, yeah. As long as he doesn't score in the cup, is that right?
I hope not. We got Quadro Bar to rile a lot of people. Let's think about it. He riled the Portsmouth fans, didn't
he? Yeah, absolutely. So just two last things before we wrap up. One is just rivalries. You've touched a few times on Luton. So tell me, why is there such a rivalry with Luton and what's it like?
Well, I think it's just, let's be honest, the M1 is yellow. I mean, obviously Luton fans are going to go, no, it ain't, it's orange, it's yellow. But like, to be honest, I've supported Watford my whole life. I've always been told to not like Luton because they're only like 10 minutes, 20 minutes down the road. I think it's just a bit of friendly football banter, but with Watford and Luton, they both really hate each other, which is great. The derby at our place was absolutely awful. You could see that they were in the relegation looms, which was honestly the most funniest day of my life when I found out they got relegated. But, you know, to be honest, there's always going to be a battle between Watford and Luton. The fact that they're in League One this year just sums them up, really, to be honest. They're not very good. So fingers crossed they can stay in League One or do the treble and go to League Two, which they probably will do because their players are crap, let's be honest. So who knows?
And is there any other team even that you personally don't like for whatever reason?
Oh, do you know what? There isn't. That actually isn't. I don't like Millwall. Actually, this is Millwall
but they
fans.
Don't care.
Millwall don't. Yeah, no. But going to Millwall as a Watford fan, they are not very nice people. You've got to be very careful when you're in London with them around because they're not very nice people. They're out there to try and basically disrupt your day. You're trying to have a good time at the football and things like that, but you can't. Second-hand experience my friend had. They were on the train and someone came out with like a weapon and they tried to hurt them. So yeah, you do need to be careful when you go to Millwall.
I think their roar is worse than their bite.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed any trips I've had to Millwall and I've been very lucky. I've never seen or had any trouble there.
Yeah, you just have to be careful.
There's a lot of banter with the fans all the same. From the
yeah, no. The banter with them is absolutely hilarious, to be honest.
And last thing is, I see you do a bit of content creation. Tell us a little bit about that so our audience can keep an eye out for you.
TalkWatfordFC on Instagram and Watford FC Media. I've only just started it, and to be honest, it's going pretty well. So we talk about Watford signings, my personal view of what I think. I did a match day vlog against Leyton Orient when we drew 1-0. But the most funniest thing about it was when I went to Poundland, because let's be honest, nothing in Poundland's a pound anymore, is it?
Certainly not.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. But no, I'm doing pretty well following wise on like TikTok and Instagram, things like that.
Excellent.
But it is good. It's nice to be one of like the female creator, obviously, with like what's just happened in the world now with the Lionesses winning that European again, which is absolutely mental for women's football and things like that. And obviously, I think women's football, I mean, obviously this is about men's football. Women's football needs to be advertised more during men's football as well. Obviously, you've got Norwich women and you've got Watford women as well. But that needs to be advertised as well. Like having a women's mascot as well, because it will get girls into football. And that's what...
Absolutely.
That's what we need.
Really, really important. I was delighted that you agreed to come on this, even though it's aimed at a particular men's game, because I think it's great to see more women talking about football, getting involved in football. And even within our own Beyond the Barkley family, we've got Izzy, who does a series of vlogs and podcasts specifically on our women's game. So it's great to see. So I really wish you well with your continued content creation and hope you build loads of extra fans and support.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And hopefully I'll get to see you at one of our...
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, we're playing you 3 times in 2025. Absolutely mental. And you're playing me on my birthday, the 6th of December.
Oh, well.
At 12:30. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that 21st birthday will be a good birthday.
Listen, thanks very much for coming on.
I really appreciate.
That's it for this episode of Beyond the Barkley. Thanks so much for listening. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave a review if you enjoyed the show. You can also catch all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And if you've got any questions, stories, or topics you'd like us to cover, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, on the ball, City.